Hello, it's assembly time. So I thought that today I would share with you a bit of a story because we are coming up to the 1st of December and the start of the Christmas season. But I thought I'd talk a little bit today about the changing seasons because Advent, and you might be looking to open Advent calendars. You might be thinking about Advent candles or Advent wreaths. Advent is a time of waiting. And at this time of year, everybody is waiting because Christians are waiting for that special time when Jesus was born. It might be that if you're not Christian, you're just looking forward to Christmas and excited about it. But I'm going to do a little bit today about the kind of wildlife that's around as well. And we're going to have a think about what happens in the wider world. So let's have a look at this story. Really lovely story called Winter Sleep, a hibernation story. So, winter sleep. It all looks very sparse and dark and a bit grim, but actually, this is just the whiteness of the snow. Now, when it was summer, I stayed at Granny Sylvie's house, and she knows lots of things, like the names of flowers and how to spot a deer's hoof print. There they are. Where to splash around the pond, climb a slope of green ferns, pass through oak trees with moss on one side, and find the secret glade. Butterflies fluttered, even though it was late. Granny Sylvie helped me to listen for songs of different birds. It was still warm. We stayed right into the summer magic of the night, and we kept so still. We saw the dormouse who lives there run up a hazel tree. There you go, you can see the dormouse. When I went back to stay with Granny, it was winter. I asked her, can we go to the secret glade? She said, yes, if you can find it. Everything was different. The pond was frozen hard. The ferns on the slope looked dead. The oak trees with moss on one side were all bony. And that's a little bit like how things look now, because we've got bare trees, the leaves are finally falling, and we're starting to see just the shapes of the branches. And the glade was quiet and bare. It wasn't the same. It wasn't anything the same. No butterflies, no flowers, no birds. I wanted to see the dormouse, but Granny said the dormouse will be having a winter sleep. It was too cold to stay, and I said, nothing's alive in winter. Granny Sylvie told me, it is. We can't see the dormouse, but she's hiding here. She'll be safely, deeply sleeping all winter long. This is her hibernation time. In autumn, the time that we're coming out of now, she feasted on forest nuts, fruits, and insects. Then the long nights came and she felt cold, heavy, and sleepy. There was nothing more to eat. So she made a nest ball, and she's inside secretly snoring until the spring sun warms her body again. On the way back, I asked, are there other animals hiding in the trees? Got bats? Granny said yes, lots of bats hibernate in trees. On warm nights, they fly across the forest, chasing insects and pulling spiders from webs. But even their food rests in winter, so bats snuggle up in a hollow trunk or cave and snooze through the frosty weather. I said, where do all the insects go? Granny told me, some are sleeping right under your feet. The ground is frozen hard, but down below there are stag beetles waiting to come out. The queen bumblebee sleeps in a tiny tunnel. Some moths and butterflies hide underground, often wrapped up, waiting for spring. Mother earwigs look after their eggs until they hatch when spring comes. We were coming to the pond, so I asked, what about in the water? Got the fish under the water. Granny said there's ice on top, but pond life waits below. Before it froze, frogs dived down deep into slimy mud. Now they're still and breathing so slowly they seem dead, but when the water warms in spring, we'll hear them croaking again. I said, so all sorts of animals are having a winter sleep. That's right, Granny Sylvie told me. Some even make a special home for winter. A bear builds a den deep in the woods, perhaps in a cave, an old tree trunk or hidden hollow. Mummy bear slows right down and rests there with her cubs, curled up tight on a bed she's made from soft moss, twigs and leaves. And we don't have bears in England anymore, apart from in zoos. But in places where bears live, like America and Canada, they'll be hibernating. Granny Sylvie was still telling me about the animals in winter when I was in bed. You see, she told me, there's plenty of life tucked up, hiding in the cold. I nodded. I could feel the cosy magic of the dark outside, and even though it wasn't very late, I closed my eyes for a winter sleep. There we go. Now, even though we don't have any snow at the moment, it's getting colder, and you might have noticed that there's fewer animals around. There might be fewer birds. There might be more. I noticed a blackbird in my garden yesterday, and it hadn't been in my garden for ages because I've got bird feeders in my garden. It came to get to visit the bird feeders, and in the past, it's gone out and just kind of wandered around the woods and found whatever whatever food it can find. But now it's coming to the food that people put out for it. So we've got all of the animals, the birds, nature is even closing itself down for the year. And it's all going on in the background with all these hibernating animals. And it's that time of waiting before that really deep cold. And that's what Advent is, the start of the Christmas season. Advent means to wait for something to happen and before something new happens. Okay, so we're getting into this period of waiting. So have a think. What are you waiting for? Now, I know people are waiting for Christmas, but see if you can find a different answer. What are you looking forward to? Is it being with family? Is it seeing friends? Not just about the presents, because there's lots of lovely things. Have a talk about it now. And when you're having a think about it, when you're having a think about what you're waiting for, what you're looking forward to, see if you can come up with some other things that you'd be looking forward to. So I'm looking forward to seeing the birds in my garden over the winter. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the trees and plants in the garden in the cold, in the lovely crisp weather, in the frost. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys. Right. Next assembly, we will do a little bit more about Advent and the Christmas story. Have a lovely rest of the day, guys. I'll see you soon.